I'd like to call the meeting to order. Leavenworth Board of County Commissioners. I'd like to invite everyone to stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'd like to start with a moment of silence. On the roll call, Commissioner Cos, Commissioner Holland, Commissioner Smith are present, and we will open up our public comment portion of the meeting. Anyone from the public wishing to speak, please come forward and state your name.
Yeah, my name is Bill Leckler, 21833 219th Street, and just curious, the status of our chip and seal on 219th Street.
There's a work session on roads tomorrow at 9 o'clock in this room. But you do have 100%.
So we're good to go, just minor details.
In my opinion, you are, but we're going to have a work session tomorrow.
Which pond are they 100% on?
Yes, all of it.
All of it? Oh,
Yeah.
they are. So,
Yeah.
yeah, you're good to go.
Good to go. So that's in the minutes, right? Good to go.
That's an official term,
Official
I'm
term.
sure. But will you be able to make the work session on
Yes, we
tomorrow?
will be there.
Okay, all right. We'll
Thank
save
you.
you a seat.
Thank you.
Anyone else from the public wishing to speak? Then we'll close public comment and move on to administrative business.
Just like to remind everybody that next Monday, the courthouse is closed in recognition of Martin Luther King Day.
Dang, I hate that.
You can still come by.
Oh, okay.
That's all I had.
Okay.
Might have some bad weather coming in.
Yeah, maybe closed anyways, huh?
Yeah.
The consent agenda, you had a chance to look at the minutes and check registry and everything?
I have.
Any questions, any concerns? I'll
Make a-
entertain a motion.
I make a motion that we approve the consent agenda as stated.
Second?
Any further discussion? Then voting?
Aye.
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 I did notice that we were, of course, we haven't been spending much money, and I like to see that, but we got to spend money to make money.
Well, it's a new year, Bob.
Yeah.
And we had considerable amount of carryover from last year. So I'd say everything's good.
So that means you're going to be doing some road work in the first district?
Have we caught up on the third district from that $800 and some thousand AASHTO standard road you did?
No, I didn't do it.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean, that's
The AASHTO Standard Road was done by your predecessor.
okay. Okay. All right. Well, then we're ready for the current board to sign died and motion for that.
I make a motion that we have the current board adjourned into sine die.
Second?
Any further discussion? Voting?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
Come on, Jeff.
Mr. Culver, come forward.
Go ahead.
Morning, Commissioner Culberson.
That won't be the smile of the day, by the way.
Yeah. All right. Okay, at this time, the board needs to appoint a new chairman,
Temporary.
a temporary chairman, I'm sorry.
Motion to appoint Doug Smith, temporary chair of the Leavenworth County Commission.
Second.
Got a motion and a second, any discussion? Voting?
Aye.
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 Okay. All right. So the board can come out if aye and aye at this time. We need a motion to do that.
No, you just need to convene as the Board of County Commissioners.
Okay, we'll reconvene as the regular Board of County Commissioners. Now the board recognizes and appoints a new permanent chairman.
I move we appoint Doug for the permanent chairman.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion?
I'd like to say something.
All right.
I know typically we appoint one of the new commissioners to do this.
Hey, speaking of your
I'm
microphone.
gonna move this over here. Is that better?
Oh, yeah.
I know typically we appoint one of the new commissioners to be the chairman, but I think we're going to take a little new direction with this new board and try to keep things running as smooth as possible. And I think it just makes sense to have an experienced commissioner be the chairman for this first year with the new board.
I agree.
And then we typically rotate, but with the 5, I'm not sure how that's going to work. So there'll be a lot of changes this year. Actually, in a few months.
Yep.
A few months. So, anyways, okay. Did we vote on that?
So I make a motion that we appoint Doug as permanent for
Okay.
this year.
All right. And voting?
Aye.
Aye.
I guess aye. All right. Now, we are going to have to set our regular meeting days at this time. I'm not sure, being we're meeting once a week, I'm not sure how the rest of the board feels about changing our meeting day to say Wednesday, Thursday, something middle of the week.
Also on that topic, we had night meetings. I think the third
Third Tuesday of the month.
third week.
Because it was the same day the Mid-America Regional Council meetings were.
Yep. And so to avoid the conflict, and I was all for the night meetings before we even started doing that, to make it more accessible for the public to come to the meetings.
Hearing you. Yeah, I'm sorry.
We got
This was all new yesterday. Even me?
Or Jeff. Yeah.
Oh.
You're leaning back in your chair.
Gotta get closer.
Okay.
Microphone in front of. Well, maybe the microphone needs to be longer.
Yeah, we need to make them longer. Like I was saying, I was all for the night meetings before we even started doing the night meetings a couple of years ago, to make it accessible for the public to make it to the meetings. But we've done it now for a couple of years, and it doesn't work. Nobody shows up. And the problem it causes is if we have staff that's not salaried, we're paying them overtime or comp time to come in. So I suggest we do away with the night meetings. And also, I think Wednesday would be a better meeting to have less conflicts with Mid-America Regional Council meetings.
Yeah. Yeah, there's some days Bob and I were there kind of late, and then we got back here. But as long as our meetings are on YouTube, I think that probably covers most everybody's needs. That's mine.
I agree.
I agree.
Are you in agreement with Wednesday?
Any day is fine with me. Wednesday's good.
Saturday?
Why not?
Oh, okay.
I would not like Saturday.
Okay. Well, I'll entertain a motion on a meeting day.
Motion to have the regular meeting of the county commission on Wednesday mornings at 9 a.m.
And do you need a separate motion to do away with the night meetings?
This will set the meeting date so that
Okay.
the sub-motion would take care of that.
Okay.
She's got the time in the motion.
So every Wednesday at 9. I second.
Any further discussion? You have something to add, Mr. Berry?
My only concern is, you mentioned the YouTube part of your meeting being shown, and with transparency being what a couple years ago, and I would like to see the county work toward that process. So, because the only people who get to see it on live stream from me is people that are friends with me through Facebook. And I'm thinking, the county has a website, they could go to that and live stream it directly to that. So everybody in the county can watch it, not just people that are friends with me.
Okay.
And that would eliminate what people fear you're doing to a YouTube video is doctoring it before you put it out there. And I've been told that before by prior commissioners, that in fact is what was happening, so that somebody didn't say something out of the side of their neck and it offends somebody. Well, if we're all about transparency, let's stick to what we say. If I say it right in this meeting, everybody in God's creation will know what I said.
Mm-hmm.
Have no mixed feelings about doing that.
That only works if you step up to the microphone. So we do have complaints about people in the audience talking without stepping up to the microphone. And we do not edit the YouTube video. The only way we would make any changes is if we go into an executive session and there's dead space, we just cut the dead space out. But we do publish it to the YouTube as it was recorded.
Okay.
So Glenn, you're suggesting that we put it on Facebook too? Is that what you're saying? Or instead of
Live stream,
YouTube?
just like I'm doing.
Or the county website.
Yeah, and I know IS had talked about that before. And
We
that's
do have the
before-
ability to live stream through the YouTube. Right now, we actually do a delay. We have to go through a separate step to do the delay. In the past, we've discussed some of the challenges with the live streaming. I don't know if our current county counselor has those same concerns.
Commissioners, what's said is said. You can't unring a bell. I would suggest that it be broadcast with no delay.
Okay. So I think we need to talk to IS and figure out, because I know there were some concerns.
Well, it's being done anyway, it's being done through me.
Right, but as far as the county doing it.
They can do, that's not a problem. They can do it live.
Okay.
What we would lose is Larry adds some tags to the stream so you know who's speaking at certain times. He'll add tags just to make sure they identify. We wouldn't have that if it was live, but the rebroadcast, I guess, could be available.
Okay. I'm sure Larry's watching.
We could sell advertising space on it if we put it on there.
A few months ago, we could have. And we would have been profitable.
So is there a direction to live stream the meetings via our YouTube feed?
Yes, please.
If the board wouldn't mind making a motion on that.
Move that the board live stream the regular meetings of the county commission.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? I think we've already discussed with the county counselor, so. Voting?
Aye.
Aye. And aye. Okay. Now, let's consider the official newspaper. We've got a lot to choose from.
Tonganoxie is now Lawrence Journal World, right?
And they also do not have an office in Tonganoxie anymore.
So they're really a Lawrence paper now.
Yes, sir.
So it would seem we just need to go with the Leavenworth Times since it is local. Leavenworth Times. Should we go ahead and go with the Leavenworth Times as it is a local publication?
Mr. Chairman, members of the commission, the Leavenworth Times is your current official newspaper, and the Leavenworth Times does meet all the qualifications for an official county newspaper.
So I make a motion that we use Leavenworth Times for the official Leavenworth County paper.
Second?
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion on Leavenworth Times being our official paper? Seeing none, voting?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. And we have to choose a bank for deposits for the county. Believe that.
The county goes out for bid every 4 years to choose a depository for the county. Last year, we did go out for bid. Commerce Bank was awarded to be the official depository for Leavenworth County, but we would need a motion to go ahead and continue that with Commerce Bank.
Motion to continue with Commerce Bank as the depository for the county commission, or the Leavenworth County, excuse me.
Second.
We have a motion and a second on Commerce Bank. Any discussion?
I just wanted to ask the treasurer her opinion on that.
I would highly recommend staying with Commerce Bank. They've been extremely helpful with all of our investments, and I'm very happy with them. Thank you for asking.
It's not broken, doesn't need fixed.
Fine with me?
All right, we have voting?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Now we need to set wages for elected officials as approved in the budget. Any thoughts? I have just one. We put human resources under the county clerk, and we didn't do anything as for a stipend or anything for that. We gave added duties to the clerk.
Do you have any suggestions on what monetary difference that should make?
Well, a stipend should be a percentage, I believe. I don't know, does any,
We do have a pay plan, so the steps on the pay plan are 2% steps. I would recommend if whatever you would want to go forward with, that you make it a multiple of a 2% so we can stay on the pay plan.
okay.
For all department heads, or elected officials, or are you talking about just the
Well, just-
clerk?
All elected
Different.
officials are on the pay
On the
plan.
pay plan.
Right.
Pay plan was adopted during the budget. The motion that's on the agenda here would just put the wages in as per the budget. If you wanted to consider a stipend for the additional duties, I'm just asking that if you do that, you consider it in a multiple of a 2% so that I can keep it on the current pay plan.
I see.
So whatever, I'm not recommending or saying anything for or against it, just saying whatever that is, please keep it at a 2% interval so we can keep it in the pay plan. So if it's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, whatever it is, just.
Yeah, I recommend that we just keep it in line with the 2% the rest of the county's on.
You mean giving the clerk an additional 2% for the stipend?
No, I'm talking about all the elected officials
Well,
as far as
it
the
doesn't,
clerk.
So,
it
yeah,
just is,
if you approve it per the budget, that's fine, that keeps us in the pay plan. What Commissioner Smith had said was an additional stipend for the human resources
Which would be
functions.
above and beyond what we
Would be above and
budgeted.
beyond that, that's what was asked.
you
Yeah.
took on additional duties.
Yeah.
We just, if you agree with that, we just have to figure out how many steps or the steps of 2%, so.
I see. I agree it's added duties. I just haven't thought about how much that's worth.
Does anyone, well,
Mr. Chairman, members of the commission, good morning again. David Van Paris. If I could offer a thought, Commissioner Smith's proposal may have come as quite frankly, a surprise. I don't think you're required to finalize that portion of the county clerk's compensation this morning. I think the idea was that you would consider approving the salaries of the elected officials as prepared by your fiscal year 2019 budget. If an additional stipend would be appropriate, you could certainly consider that in the very near future, giving yourself time to study the issue.
okay. Well,
So I move that we do the proposed budget amounts and put the clerk's additional amount on hold until we figure out exactly what that should be.
okay. I have a motion.
Second.
Any further discussion? Voting?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. All right, we're ready for adult community corrections, reappointment of members to an adult advisory board.
Good morning, Commissioners, and welcome. My name is Megan Waters, and I am the Director of the Adult Community Corrections for Leavenworth County. every year, we have to reappoint our advisory board members. Our financial and fiscal operations are managed through the county, but our comp plan and our day-to-day management is managed through an advisory board, and that is set up by the state statute. That statute does require that we have a 12-panel board that meets on a quarterly basis. Those members consist of the sheriff, the chief of police for the highest population city within our county, as well as the prosecutor for the county, the judge that oversees our population, and then we also have at-large members, which is where the county commission board gets to elect those individuals. In the past, we have provided a list of individuals to the board, and the board has approved those individuals. The three that we would be asking for reappointment would be Dr. Roger Bonner. He is a criminal justice professor at the University of St. Mary's. This would be his second term on our advisory board. He provides great insight for information and education for the trending population and growth within the corrections field. We would also be asking for Carol Lohman to be reappointed. She is the Extension County agent for Leavenworth County. She's a lifelong community member here in the county, and she provides great financial and oversight when it comes to the providing of resources within our community. And then we would be asking that Linda Sanders also be reappointed. She has been on our board since 2013. She is retired with the city of Leavenworth, and she also used to work for the Leavenworth Police Department. She provides, again, great insight from the past trends that have happened within the field of corrections, as well as provides great resources within our community. These terms are for a 2-year term, and so we would be able to notify them this evening when we have our meeting if they are reappointed back to the board.
Megan, one of the things I talked to you about was that typically when we're appointing to a board, we ask for an application to show their interest and also to give the board, the Board of County Commissioners, a little background on the people. Did you have a chance to get that information for them?
They did not provide me an application. They did provide me confirmation in an email, as well as a briefing of some of their accomplishments, and I wrote those down so that if the board had questions, I can possibly answer a lot of those questions through, but they did not complete an application. It was more through an email.
Do we ever post these or advertise these positions? I know there's a lot of people in our community that would be willing to serve on these boards.
To my knowledge, no. These members have already been on the board when I took over this position.
Okay. Well, I'd like to see positions like this advertised. I mean, we have a lot of untapped talent in our community. Have a lot to offer, and a lot of retired people, professionals. I'd like to see these advertised myself when we have positions of this open. And like I said, we're going to have, with 2 new commissioners, we're also going to have more planning commission members. Is that correct?
Commissioners, the statutes would not require you to expand the membership of the Planning Commission due to the increase of the number of commissioners.
Okay. What would it take to expand the Planning Commission?
Your vote. You have to have at least 5 members.
Well, I just think with new commissioners, they ought to be able to appoint their person on the Planning Commission.
Commissioners, while the number of planning commissioners will not need to increase, the board will need to revisit the formula by which the members are currently appointed due to the increase in the number of commissioners, regardless of whether you increase the size of the board.
Because the way the process works now is 1 commissioner appoints 2 people on the planning.
It's a formula that allocates the appointments between 3 commissioners. Obviously, that might cause problems when there are 5, and that's something I'm certain your planning staff can provide you with recommendations on.
That is something we've already considered. We're working on what would need to be amended to make that happen, so that when the new board comes on, how they're apportioned, and whether you want to go back down to 5, where each person appoints 1, or go up or stay at 9. That's all something that will be in a future agenda. I think the question today is, do we want to renew these 3 Or do you want to open it up and allow other people to apply, which may still end up in these 3 being appointed? It's just an opportunity for other people to express an interest in these particular positions.
We could appoint these 3 temporarily until the 2 new commissioners come on and then readdress this.
Well, this is different in the way it's set up. These are by statute, how many people are on there and who appoints. I don't think it would be a problem to wait for a couple of weeks or 30 days while we open it up and let some people to try to submit if there's anybody else interested, and then evaluate at that time. I don't think that would be a problem, but I don't know that you would want to leave, because their terms are expiring. I don't know if you'd want to leave it for until it's almost 100 days, I think, before we'll have our new board member.
So we could just run a public notice in our official county newspaper?
We could do that. We could put something in there
On the
saying we're
website,
soliciting
stuff like that.
applications for appointment to this board.
And then have applications turned into you, the county administrator?
Do that, certainly. Then I
And
could
we could
distribute
go-
them to the board before the meeting that you would have a chance
Okay.
to look them over and consider.
Does that sound fair to the commissioners?
That sounds fair to me.
I agree.
We'll do that. We'll probably just do a 30 days, so we'll have it middle of next month, have that
Okay.
back to you for consideration.
Thank you.
Not to get off subject, but on the planning commission, when will we have something for the board on that?
I think we've already been in discussion. We're talking about how we would want to amend it, but we're going to have a work session on it, actually.
Okay.
So that you have an opportunity to discuss, because, again, there are several options. You only have to have 5. We currently have 9, but you can have more than 9. So do you want to keep it at 9? You want to state it, go down to 5? Do you want to go up? But we'll have a work session on that, so you guys have a chance to discuss it and give us direction, and then we'll bring back the necessary amendment to our planning and zoning regs so that we can get that addressed.
Has there been a lot of problems with not having a quorum at some of these meetings?
I don't think we've
Pretty
ever
much
had an issue with a
everybody's-
quorum with planning and zoning. I think I think for a while we were down 1 board member,
Mhm.
but attendance is pretty good, and Mr. Joseph monitors it. And there is in the regulations, you're required to attend a certain number, and if not, which we did have somebody who wasn't meeting that requirement, and we asked them to leave the board, and we appointed someone new. So they don't typically have attendance issues at the planning and zoning committee.
Okay. Well, I think it's important that each commissioner would at least appoint 1.
I think it because of the change, it might be worthwhile to wait until the new board members are on before we have that work session.
Okay.
And then allow all 5 members to vote on how they would like to see it broken up.
Well, I'm sorry, I didn't know you were already working on that.
That's just a.
I wouldn't have brought it up, I
Yeah,
guess.
Mr. Joseph brought that to our attention. We were working on it.
Okay. We'll table this. All right, thank you, Megan.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Are any of the commissioners going to attend this marketing workshop tonight at Deer Ridge Estates, Donahue Road?
I wasn't planning on it.
I'm planning on it. I mean, it's kind of in my backyard.
That's
so
what I figured you were
figured
probably going.
I will attend that. Okay. We have anything else for the board this time?
I do not have anything.
Motion to adjourn and have a reception for outgoing Commissioner Holland
Second.
And incoming commissioners.
and incoming
Oz,
commissioners.
Culbertson.
Second.
Aye.
Aye.